Hi everybody, so I'm here with Adnan Ashfaq. So we had few podcasts together, two podcasts together. So first time we meet here. Wonderful. So we are here at Medica. So thanks Adnan first for the interview. And what do you think now of this Medica here today?
Medica has been an interesting visit for us. It's a very big pond, and there's some small fish, there's some large fish. I mean, you've got to try and see what works for you. I think it's important that you do your homework first. I definitely advise people to do some homework and where they're going, because it's so big. There's 17 halls, and it takes very long from walking from one place to another. So you must do your homework and research of who you want to meet, where they are, and then it will make it much more strategic for you for your visit, and probably more productive in that way. So that's something that I would definitely advise people to do that for the future.
Because we have 6,000, I think, companies here, and even when they give you the booth number, it's a nightmare to sometimes find where it is exactly. So it's important that, as you said, you already organize that. But for you, as Simply Medica mainly, what is the interest for you to be here?
Yeah, so I've basically been here trying to get people to understand the criticality of the MDR process, moving towards the EU MDR for CE marking. There's a presence here behind my stand here with the US Pavilion, and they don't have so much expertise with CE marking, more FDA submissions. So it's interesting to know that also for them, some of them claim to have CE marking with the old MDD, but they actually don't know about the extension and the meaning of the extension. And not just for the US, but everyone. This is generally the case, and that's caused a lot of confusion. And as some people know, there's a deadline around the corner, only 6 months away. And that derogation that came in place gives allowance based on 3 points. So I've been going around speaking to people, just educating them. And it's not just about making business, it's about making ties, it's about communicating, it's about developing trust as well, that people trust you as a name, that you're here also to help.
Exactly. And here we talk about the new MDR. So
exactly.
We were discussing, is it still new?
Exactly. So the irony of it is that we're here 6 years on from the application of the MDR since it came out. And it still is very much new, in the sense that lots of organizations have not embraced it. They're shying away from it. Maybe they don't even know about it. So in that sense, I think it still is new. Some companies have made an effort, they've made a considerable effort to move towards the MDR. They've done work, they claim that they have it. You know, whether they have it or not is another story.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's also interesting to do with notified bodies, and there are some notified bodies here at Medica, and you should also use the opportunity to speak to them, because I've also been speaking to some of those notified bodies that have capacity now. So while they're busy with the transfer, but also they're taking on new clients. So there is a concept, maybe a slight misunderstanding as well, that notified bodies, all notified bodies are not taking on new clients. This is not exactly true. So you have to do some homework and research. There are notified bodies that are taking on new clients. And if you are a new startup business, you need to engage maybe with a consultant, and they will be able to find them for you, because we're in the business to try and make partnership with organizations, and as part of that partnership is we are seeking those notified bodies that will work for you, for your code, which they have under their belt as the MDR designation, because even if they have MDR designation, it does not mean that they have the code that you have needing to apply.
Code.
So we have to make sure that they have the code as well. So that requires a little bit of investigation. So we have to work on that together.
Exactly, and we had two notified bodies that we have interviewed, so ECM and Kiwa. So there was also the interviews that were here. And they were claiming we are available, we can talk to you, because we had also this meaning that, we cannot talk with notified bodies, they cannot give us some, we cannot discuss with them because it will be considered as consulting, but it's not really true from what they were telling us.
Because you should try and approach them. They will maybe have the conversation with them. There'll be a point where they will draw the line that they will not go beyond. But it's worth having the conversation, and they're definitely easy to speak to. It's not like the FDA. I think the misconception probably comes from the FDA, because the FDA is much more, in that sense, regulated. As soon as you open the door for conversation, it can be sometimes awkward. I mean, even with the FDA, there's pre-subs that you can do, and you can have conversations with them. But notified bodies, definitely, there's an approach, and people should speak to them and engage with them and not be so scared.
Okay, so what is actually within your activity, the consulting activity for EU MDR, what is the most difficult part actually with your customers?
Well, it's the education, it's making them understand that they've got to do something about it. You know, that don't leave it too late.
Exactly.
This is the key thing, because we've got the 26th of May next year and the 26th of September next year, 2 key dates, which will then cause a huge bottleneck and a backlog, because everybody will rushing towards that date now. And then to make sure that they have the QMS in place according to Article 10, bracket 9, and then also to make sure that they have the Authorized Representative mandate in place to the MDR, and making sure that you have the application form in with the notified bodies that you are interested towards your MDR. I mean, it's interesting because I was walking from one side to another side, and in my email I found from one of my clients, notified body, can you make sure that you've got your application in for the MDR? So I said I need to have a meeting with them because we already had the conversation.
Yeah.
Right. But it's very important. Start the conversation.
Education also is important. Understanding the situation. Also understanding that this extension is not an extension mainly for manufacturers. It's more for notified bodies to have time and to get the certification.
Exactly. So this is also a slight misunderstanding as well. But in the same time, it will help the whole situation where there's been a potential where everything's coming to a standstill. Some of my clients have been looking towards other regulations, FDA namely, and UKCA marking is providing some opportunity. So big question mark is what's happening with the regulatory framework in the UK.
Yeah.
You know, and there's also some discussions that people have been, you've traveled a lot more than I have to some of these conferences where there's discussions taking place with the UKCA framework as well. But I think in the beginning it looked like the UK was going to follow the MDR almost entirely, but I think it's a mistake if that happens.
Exactly.
Because all of the mistakes that they've made, we don't want to make sure that we've taken the mistakes.
Now learning from
those mistakes. Exactly. So it needs to be like a hybrid situation, I think, something in between what is now and what the MDR is aiming towards, which is ultimately patient safety.
Exactly. So we'll look at that anyway with when the MHRA will decide to release their new regulation and how it's working. Okay, Adnan, it was really a pleasure.
Really
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you,
and wish you a great Medica.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.